everyone. So we may not be officially in winter yet, but it definitely feels like it. It is freezing outside, and I don't know about you, but my skin is really suffering for it. I'm normally a very oily combination skin type, but it's just got very dry and dehydrated, and I think we have the cold weather to blame for that. So today I thought I'd talk you through some of my favourite winter skincare products, things that I know I can pull out at this time of year and they're just going to help my skin feel better. So the majority of the bits that I have here are facial skincare products, but I do have a couple of body bits to throw in at the end, because even if we are wearing jumpers and coats and jeans and boots and just covering up pretty much every inch of our skin, it's still nice to keep it hydrated. So the step of makeup removal is always an important one, and usually I just reach for a bottle of micellar water, so either one from Biorderma, or I do also really like the Garnier micellar water, but sometimes they can leave my skin feeling a little bit stripped and dry. So something that I like to use as an alternative is the Clinique Take the Day Off Balm. This is quite similar to a balm cleanser. It comes in a very solid form, and once you scoop it out and massage it in between your hands, it just turns into a lovely silky feeling oil, and it's quite lightweight and very different to your standard balm cleansers. It doesn't have a lot to it, it is just pretty much a solid oil, but it really breaks down makeup. It really takes away any waterproof mascara, eyeliner, everything that you have on your skin. After you've massaged it all in, it can just be taken off with either a muslin cloth or just splashed off with water, and it just makes your skin feel like it's completely cleaned out, there's no makeup left on it, but it doesn't feel stripped at all. So that's a step that I really like using first of all in my routine. Another extra step that I like to use every now and then is an exfoliator, and it took me a while to really come around to the thought of using manual exfoliants. For a long time I was very happy just using kind of AHAs and more kind of acidic things, more liquid toners, things like that to exfoliate my skin, but in the winter for some reason I just feel like I get a lot more of a build-up of dry skin, especially kind of around my nose and on the top of my forehead, so it's nice just every once in a while to use something with a little bit more of a scrub to it. So this is the exfoliator from Indeed Labs, and it's actually just a powder in there. You can kind of hear it shaking around if you move it, and it's really nice because you can pour a little bit out on your hand and then just add the right amount of water depending on the consistency you like. So if you want it to be very thin and liquidy and just a little bit exfoliating, you can add a lot of water, or if you want something that's a bit more hardcore, you can just add a tiny little drop. The exfoliating particles in this are really lovely and soft, very gentle on the skin, to a point where you can't actually feel them when you're using it. And to begin with I thought that was kind of a bad thing, that it wasn't doing anything for my skin, but it definitely does make your face feel softer. I think it's nice that they're not too abrasive, because anything abrasive on the skin can lead to kind of damage and broken capillaries and things like that, so it's nice to use an exfoliator that is very gentle on the skin but still works really well. So another thing that I'm very guilty of forgetting in my routine is a toner, and I think toners are great because you can really tailor them to your skin type. You can go for something quite moisturising, you can go for an exfoliating toner, or even an oil clearing one. This is the Kiehls Ultra Facial Toner, and I really like the whole range that this comes from, but this really is a standout product within that, and it's kind of a very thick toner. It's very opaque and it looks very kind of creamy and white, and when you pour it onto a cotton wool pad it's actually almost like a lotion. I think this is a great one for people that don't really like to use a very greasy or heavy moisturiser on their skin, because this feels like it injects a really nice amount of hydration while you're using it. It just feels like it kind of soothes and glides on, and it really plumps everything up, and it is just a toner so it doesn't leave any residue on there. I find this one really helps with those little stubborn, almost kind of eczema-y dry patches that people can sometimes get. So I have them a little bit on my forehead and no moisturisers seem to touch them, whereas this really actually helps with them, so it's a great product, this one. And then when it comes to extras like treatments and masks, I have two here that I use absolutely religiously in the colder months, and the first one is the Origins Drink Up Intensive Overnight Mask. I think this wins the award for the most mentioned product ever on this channel. I have talked about it so many times. This is basically just a very rich overnight mask that really helps to boost and hydrate your skin. When you wake up your skin will absolutely be glowing if you use this, but it can also be used as kind of a treatment throughout the day, so just popping it on for sort of 10 minutes and then tissuing off the excess, and you can just go on with your makeup and the rest of your skincare. The one thing people ask about this is, does it feel heavy and greasy? And it actually doesn't. There's something about this that even despite its richness, it still feels like your skin can breathe, which is I think a really important thing in a product, especially if you're going to be sleeping in it. This also gets bonus points for just smelling incredible. Oh, it smells like peaches and fruit and just yumminess. And then the second one that I know I can always rely on to really give my skin a bit of extra glow is the Chapman Skinesis Overnight Facial. I think I'm actually in love with Chapman skincare. It's all just beautiful. It really works well for my skin. I love the cleanser and the serum as well, and they all just make a really nice combination when used together. But this one really packs a punch if you're looking for something with a lot of hydration. I'd kind of describe it as an oily gel. It definitely isn't an oil and it's definitely not a gel, it's somewhere in between the two, but it just goes on very smoothly. You can kind of use this on your skin after you've used your toner, as a replacement for a moisturiser or on top of your moisturiser. I sometimes even like to put a little bit of moisturiser on my hand, then a pump of this and mix them together. I'd say it's really just a very intense version of the Origins Drink Up Mask. It's very concentrated, very rich, and it is going to be slightly oilier on your skin, so if you do suffer from an oily T-zone it may be something to avoid, but I still think if you have oily skin it's nice to really moisturise it too. One thing about this is it does contain a lot of essential oils, and I know some people can be very reactive to that and it can't always suit everybody's skin, so be aware of that. But if you're not, I think it is a really brilliant product to try for dry skin. And then the last facial skincare product I have is kind of a different one, because not only does my skin get quite dry in winter, it also gets very dull and very grey looking and very pale. I do kind of dabble in faint tan every so often. I give it a go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but one thing that I do like using on my skin is a kind of gradual facial tanner. I used to be quite wary of using tan on my face, because if there's anything that's going to break you out at all, it's going to be a facial tanner, but this one from Tropez has had no problems at all with my skin. It's really worked well for me and I really like the colour of this. This is just their bronzing lotion for face, and I think it's actually from the Sensitive range, so it's designed to not cause breakouts and irritation on more sensitive skins. I like to use this as the last step of my routine every so often, and just use a very small amount, and I really work it into my skin, so it just gives a very small amount of a sun-kissed glow, but it is very natural looking, and I do find that it just helps to perk everything up, make everything look brighter and fresher, but without looking like you're wearing a lot of tan. Definitely a bit of a secret weapon when it comes to winter skincare. So on to skincare for your body, and these three products really are some of my absolute favourites. I really do love them. I'm going to talk about this one here first because it's making an absolute mess all over my bed, and this is Lush's Butterball. This is probably my favourite product that Lush do. I always make sure I stock up on them. I think I have about 3 in my bathroom at the moment, which is probably a little bit excessive, but I do really love it. The scent of this is very subtle, it's very vanilla-y and quite fresh, and just a really nice relaxing fragrance, but it has, you can almost see in there these little pieces of cocoa butter, and once you put them in the bath and the thing dissolves and kind of melts away, you can almost see a layer of cocoa butter on the top, like a film of oil across the bath. For people that don't really like using an extra moisturiser when they come out the bath, this is a great one because you can kind of skip that step altogether, because it does leave your skin feeling so soft and so hydrated. So it's definitely worth stocking up on these for winter. I know I will be. And then probably one of my favourite steps to do while I'm in the bath or the shower is an exfoliator, and I like to have a good old scrub, get all that dry, dead skin off. It just makes you feel really invigorated and smooth and amazing, and this is one of my favourite scrubs ever. This is the breakfast scrub from Soap and Glory. Again, as with all my bath products, this just smells amazing. It smells like coffee and sugar and every yummy thing you can think of. This is a sugar scrub, so it is a little bit more abrasive. It does have a lot more to it, and you can definitely feel it working away your skin when you're using it. This one has almond oil and honey extracts in it, so it's another one that feels very moisturising and almost leaves a little bit of a residue once you've used it, once you get out the bath or the shower, and I think that's really nice because again you can skip the step of body lotions. And then last of all, one of my favourite things to use on my skin is an oil, so same as I like to use a facial oil, I also like to use oil on my body, and this is one of my favourites. This is the Garnier Ultimate Beauty Oil Skin Perfector. This is argan, macadamia, almond and rose oil, and it's really handy because it has a really handy little spray pump, so you can just spray this all over your skin, all over your body, and then just rub it in. You don't have to keep kind of pouring it out, and oil can get very messy very quickly. Although this hydrates your skin probably 10 times better than any body lotion or cream, it doesn't feel sticky or greasy or oily. It's almost kind of a dry oil. I think once you sprayed it on, you are going to be able to feel it on there, but it doesn't come off on your clothes. It doesn't feel very slippery at all on the skin. It really sinks in well, and I think that's a really great advantage to using something like a spray-on oil. So those are all my favourite winter skincare saviour products. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Let me know what your #1 favourite must-have winter skincare product is, and I will see you all soon.